Yay! Don't be mad. I keep forgetting to tell y'all if I have a sub because I'm going to tell y'all at the end of the day and then I forget. I'm sorry. So I owe you big time. Please do awesome today. Remember, you represent me. So keep those emotions in check. Anyways, we've got a lesson that we have to do today, so that's why I'm videoing myself do it so that you guys can do it with me. So last 2 pages in your packet are going to be what we're working on today. So while you're watching me, make sure you're at a level 0. You've got your pencil, but you're not working ahead. Okay? If you have any questions, let's save it till the end. So no, you can't ask like about water, and no, you can't get up and get anything because movement is nada. All right? So just wait till I get done here talking to you about the lesson, and then you can ask the sub questions in a respectful manner. All right? So the objective doesn't seem like it fits with what we've been doing. So just bear with me, right? So we've been working on figures, right? 2-dimensional polygons, and we've been working on 3D this week, 3D figures. So you guys have gotten really good at that. But what we're doing today is breaking down 2 figures. Let me see if I'm reading this right. So we're going to decompose, breaking down 2 figures that are congruent. All right. So if you look at, like, for example, these 2 squares, they have the same length on every side. If I took this square and put it on top of this square, it is identical. That's what congruent means. That's what equivalent means. Like, everything is identical to each other. So we're going to cut that in 2 different ways and explain why each piece is, or each part is equivalent or the same. Okay? Equal shares is what we're going to say. Make sure you're looking, listening. If you've already lost me, get back focused, please. All right. And label all your parts because it sort of looks like fraction-ish, right? Mixed with all of our new knowledge, okay? So let me tell you the story that's going on. You can't really read it, but you have it on your paper. So there's 4 friends. Basically, they're making brownies, and they have 2 8-by-8-inch baking dishes or baking pans, right? So this is pan number 1. It's 8-by-8. And then this pan is number 2, and it's also 8-by-8. So same size. The pans are the same size. Same amount of brownie batter is going to be poured in there. The same amount of time for both to bake. Like, they're going to pull it out. It's going to smell delicious, both of them. It's going to be the same. And then Erica and Mike. So Erica and Mike basically get into this debate, right? They get in this debate, and Erica's like, well, I think we should cut, because they're going to share it with 4 friends. Okay, so there's 4 of them sharing these brownies, and they want equal shares, right? This equal shares. They all want to get the same amount, because I want a big piece of brownie too. I don't want him to like get more than I do. So there's 4 friends, right? So they have to cut it into fourths. So that's where the fractions comes in, right? So there's 4 friends, have to cut it into fourths. And Erica's like, well, I think we should cut it like this. And this is the model that she draws. All right? So she cuts her baking dish, her brownies, that way. All right? So if we were labeling, right? 4 pieces. If Erica takes a piece, like this piece would be 1 brownie out of the 4 pieces, right? So 1/4. But Mike says, no. Like, I think we need to cut it like this. So he takes that brownie pan and he cuts the brownies like that. If you count it and you label it and you take the time, like we've learned, he also has 4 pieces. And if he takes this piece right here, piece 1 out of his, it is also 1 out of 4 pieces, so 1/4. Y'all, if you have the same hole, if you start with the same brownie pan, 1/4 is 1/4. Like this 1/4, even though it does not look like this 1/4, it is the same thing. You have just cut it differently. Okay? So when we were talking about equivalent fractions, this is equivalent because if we went and cut hers down to even smaller pieces, we would eventually figure out that hers can be separated into those fourths like this, and so can his. Look. So it eventually turns out to where they have the same denominator, but in the beginning, both of them are like in this argument because, oh, I don't know where I was. Here we go. They're both in this argument because she's like, well, mine look bigger than yours. And he's like, no, mine are longer than yours right there. So they get in this debate, and who's correct? Well, both of them are actually wrong because they both think they have a bigger piece when they don't. They're actually equal shares. So this word right here, equal shares. This 1/4 is equal to 1/4 because it has the same size pan. They both are the same size pan. Okay, same fraction. Boom. There's that. Okay. So let's look at, like, this is a great fun story, but I want you to look at, like, how have they asked a question about this, like, on a math test. Like, this is everyday stuff, right? You can tell your friends, like, no, man, it's the same as mine. So that's, like, everyday stuff, but let me show you how they're going to ask it. So if you turn to the next page, there's a slack down. Okay, so I do want you to go through, like, the rounds of putting a distractor, putting the worst answer, putting a distractor, and then finding your answer. So when you turn these in today, because it's the last in the packet, right? You're going to turn this in. When you turn this in today, I need to see a D next to the distractor, a W next to the worst answer. So I'm going to be checking for that. Also, I'm going to get it started with you, and then I want you to look at each one of these. If you need it read to you, please raise your hand and ask the sub to read it to you. All right? Okay, so this says same thing. Look, we've got two figures, right? They have not been divided up yet. They haven't been cut up. So that's kind of part is going to be on you a little bit. So Brandon drew two congruent squares, right? There's that word telling us that these are the same. They're identical, the same size, same shape, same length, same width. Congruent means the same. So look at these. Anytime you see bullets in a math question, you know you've got a couple steps coming at you. All right, so step one and step two. Check it out. He divided one square. So let's take this first square. He divided one square into two congruent to the same triangle parts. Two congruent triangular parts. Okay. So you need to do that in this first one. Well, some people can see that right away. How would you divide this square into two triangles, basically? Two triangles. So, see if you can figure it out. If you can, do it really quick. I'm going to pause. We'll dance. Okay, so here's how I would look at it, right? If I need two triangles, most of us should know that if you take a perfect square and you fold it in half, like diagonally, you got two congruent triangles. Triangle 1, triangle 2. Okay? So then the second bullet says he divided the other square into two congruent rectangular parts. So pay attention, like what are they doing? They're throwing some polygon names at us, right? Triangle, rectangle. So you got to think, what is a triangle? What's a rectangle? So now I need to fold this paper or cut it, divide it into two parts that are rectangular. So think about a rectangle. See if you can do it on your paper. If you can, do it. If you're like, picking your nose and you're not paying attention, or you just don't know. This, if you were folding this one, boom, half, right? Two congruent rectangles. So rectangle 1, rectangle 2. Okay, so you're going to go from there, right? Label. If you were to take like this one and this one and compare it, would you have equal shares? So I want you to figure out, read your questions and go through, label worst answer, distractor, and then look for your actual answer. When you've got that, I want you to show the sub. She will give you 5 stars for your own hard work. Okay, you got to earn it. So 5 stars, get that done, show her that, turn it in, please. Okay? And then, hey, stations people, there is a math color sheet. Sorry, we were out of paper earlier, like this week, so I could not copy it, but got some more paper. So the math color sheet's over there, so if you get finished with stations, you have to finish your stations, though. You got to go in order. So don't just hop right to that because you're like, I want to do that. And then, anyways, that is it. So have a great day. I saw you this morning probably for pictures, but I'm gone now. So you work hard, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow's market day, so bring your stuff. Yay, I'm excited about market day. Woo!